Latin Trails is pleased to be bringing you this webinar today. Our topic is Essential Peru. We're here to talk about culture, nature, and adventure on a complete route through Peru. And it is my pleasure to turn it over to Marcel Perkins. He is the managing director at Latin Trails. So, Marcel, thanks for being here today.
Oh, thank you, Lee. Good day, everyone. Morning for some, afternoon for others. I hope everything's been wonderful. We're heading towards the summer, so it's time to go out on vacation for a lot of families, but also for everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to talk about Peru today. This is one of our main destinations at Latin Trails, and it's really deep in our heart. It's one of the places we've explored with always with an open heart for the culture, the unique gastronomy and the lovely people that live in this beautiful country. Um, I'm just going to let you know a little bit about Latin Trails. We're a business to business company, meaning that we work with travel agents and operators only. We've been in business for over 20 years. We focus on guest experiences, custom itineraries, private services. We have a 24/7 concierge department that looks after guests while they're traveling. Um, and we have training sessions, of course, webinars like the present one, and additional resources for travel agents to be the rock stars there. So we want to make you look good, and we want your clients to enjoy unique experiences, experiences that you're not going to find easily online. We have a commitment to excellence, as I mentioned before, 24/7 assistance, custom itineraries. Um, Sustainability is one of the core elements of our programs where we have interaction with local cultures, and of course we support suppliers that are responsible in their interaction with the environment. We have real-time cruise availability for Galapagos, but also we will soon be having that for the Amazon rainforest in Peru and in other destinations as well. And Latin Trails is a little bit more than just offering Peru, but we offer all of South America. But let's focus on Peru and some of the experiences that you can enjoy in this beautiful country. One of the main things about Peru is also its strategic location when you want to combine destinations, because it's just south of Ecuador and Colombia. It's west of Brazil, and it's north of Chile. So and of course west of Bolivia as well. So it's close to many other countries in South America. You can combine destinations. Well, here's a list of experiences, and by all means, not all inclusive. There's so many things you can do in this beautiful place. Pisco tasting in Lima, visits to, of course, Machu Picchu, but other Inca ruins or pre-Inca ruins, um, the Chachapoyas culture in the north, for example, Kualap and all that, the Amazon, the Pink River dolphins, the lodges, the riverboat cruises, so many activities, and all these are customizable and give you part of your client's itinerary. And we're here to help you put together those itineraries and share this with your clients. Here's a map of Peru. And as you can see, it's made up of, well, I like to say three main regions, but you have a little bit more than that. You have the coast, which is the entire extent of the country, of course, with the capital Lima there, but also other locations like Chiclayo and Trujillo. Um, then the Andes, of course, which is Cusco, Puno, even Arequipa, and part of the Amazon actually, Amazonas province extends up into the Andes, and then of course the Amazon rainforest. Now, in between the Andes and the Amazon and the Andes and the coast, you have cloud forest areas, and these, believe it or not, are some of the most where the most important attractions of Peru are. Actually, Machu Picchu is part of the cloud forest. Different airlines that connect to the main airport in Lima. Lima is a great hub for South America, as I mentioned earlier before, but also you have daily flights from North America, from Europe, and here's some of the main airlines. Also, Avianca and other regional airlines serve the destination as well. Uh, Domestic connections from Lima, you can fly into Cusco, Arequipa, Iquitos, Piura, Trujillo, with LATAM, which is one of the main airlines, and Sky Airline, Cusco, Iquitos, and Arequipa, and Piura. Then, when is the best time to travel? Well, it depends on the region. The coast, of course, of Lima and that area, the warmest season is between December and March. It's nice and sunny. Then you have a low season, we would call it that way. Not really low season, but a cooler season, which is a bit foggy and cooler temperatures, but it's always dry. You have May to October. Then we have the Andes. This is where Cusco, Machu Picchu, Arequipa, Puno are. The best times to travel are April to December. It's because it's a little bit drier in terms of weather. And then December to March, it's a bit cooler, rainy, but fresh. And it's also a nice time. Everything's green. Now, the Amazon. The Amazon is a year-round destination. Now, a lot of people say, well, the dry season is the best time to travel, May to October. Depends. If you're staying at a lodge, maybe. But if you're doing a riverboat cruise, you actually want to go into rainy season because you have more time on the skips. You don't have to walk that much. You sit down and you're on this moving platform that goes under the canopy. So it really depends on the time of the year. The rainy season is November for April. So it's still hot and you have rainfall. So it really depends on what you're looking to do. Peruvian coast. This is where we're going to start. And usually, I mean, well, all travelers arrive into Lima mainly. The main routes and experiences. We like, Lima is a cosmopolitan city with lots of cultural experiences and activities to be part of. The gastronomy is unique. The Nikkei cuisine, the fusion between Asian and South American cuisine is unique in Peru. And this is what really has placed Peru as one of the main foodie destinations around the world. Um, and of course, what would we be without offering you pisco tasting or cooking classes, learning to make a ceviche? These are experiences we can offer in this beautiful city. Then the historical sites and cultural circuits, the old town in Lima with the beautiful Balcón Limeño de Lima balconies that are made out of wood. Since there's really no rain in the city or just dry mist, you can actually have wooden balconies and all that are covered. And this is where in back in the old days where young gentlemen would go and serenade the ladies that were behind the hidden balconies there. So it's a romantic city, and by all means, a city you want to explore. Then we have the Museum of Art and several other museums, the Government's Palace, iconic buildings, the Magic Water Circuit, great for families. This is a park where you have all these water fountains. And of course, the different wakas. You can have a dinner at the Waka Pugiana. Waka is like a treasure trove. It's an archaeological site where treasure was hidden. The Larco Museum. Then we have the Gold Museum. Nearby Lima is well the entire coast itself. Um, you have the desert area, the Wakachina Oasis, where you can go on sand boogies, some sand surfing as well. Um, these are nearby Lima, a few hours away, the Nazca lines, where we offer over flights of the lines. So really the coast of Peru is a place to be explored. Um, then other mysteries, in Trujillo, unexplored wonders, and Chiclayo, the northern part of Peru, where you have the largest pre-Columbian city in the Americas, the Mochica Temple complex, Moche culture and the Huacas museums, uh, the Lady of Cal, just north of Trujillo. Um, these are archaeological ruins, and a lot of people when they talk about Peru, they think of Machu Picchu, but there's so much more. And it's not just one trip. We don't want this to be your bucket list destination. We want you to come back again and explore other areas that you've missed out on. The archaeology and culture of Tucume, again, close to Trujillo and Chiclayo, the Mochica, Las Balsas, and of course, Señores Ipan and Chiclayo. This is one of the main archaeological sites in all of Peru. And again, the type of hotels we use, by the coast and in this area, Hotel B, it's one of the boutique hotels, or Casa Republica, which is also in the Barranco district. Barranco district is a small city, in the Lima province where it's bohemian, but it's very nice and with walkable streets and really live culture to be enjoyed and interaction. It's one of the trendiest parts. And of course, five-star hotels like the Belmont Miraflores Park Plaza, the JW in Lima. Again, we work with all major hotels, but just to give you an idea of what we like to book into, what we like to offer our guests, the smaller properties, boutique hotels with charm and all that. Now, let's talk about the highlands. And again, my overview of the coast of Peru is just a quick overview. There's so much more you could see. And we're happy to share that information, after the webinar. If you have any questions or anything, and throughout the webinar, just feel free to ask. Cusco, of course, one of the main destinations in Peru, known as the gateway to Machu Picchu. But no, Cusco is a city, it was really one of the first tourism cities in South America. Actually, when the Incas wanted to conquer another culture, they would invite them to Cusco to see what they had done. And of course, you have that blend now where you have the Spanish culture and the Inca culture in the same areas, like the Coricancha right behind the cathedral and all that. So these are, and then of course, Inca ruins nearby the city like Sacsayhuaman. We have the largest Inca stones, uh, the market at San Pedro, and of course, the traditions, dancers during the festivities at different times of the year. The art galleries in the San Blas district, which is the Bohemian district of Cusco, little bit up the hill. It'll take your breath away, literally. And here we have some wonderful, art galleries and paintings and all that. Small hotels, boutique, like, Inca Terra La Casona. By all means, there's other chains and there's so many other hotels in Cusco. But again, we like the smaller ones, the Palacio Inca. And again, these are, nice, beautiful properties to give you an idea, the charm that you'll find at the places you'll be staying. And of course, five-star luxury like Palacio Nazarenas by Belmont. And then the different, small cultures in the area, the Patachanga community. Oh, I went up again. Sorry. Indian healing ceremonies. These are traditions, with the shamans at the Andes and the herbals, baths that we can give and offer. This actually helps clear energy, horseback riding, kayaking, small lakes for that, and visiting the Sacred Valley of the Incas, the main our agricultural center of the Incas. The Incas were an agricultural settlement, and that's how they actually conquered, through agriculture, sharing their techniques, because they lived in a very dry land and by the coast, and they knew how to their way around the water, aqueducts, and all that, and thrive through agricultural technology. They had laboratories. They discovered things. They did investigation. They could plant things at different heights, and all that is seen throughout the area. Then, of course, other attractions, like the salt mines at Maras, um, the traditional artisan markets like Pisac, the Chincheros community where you'll find the weavers, and of course, the different interaction you can have with the local culture. And of course, the famous Andean llamas, a little bit of adventure. We can go through quads into the Sacred Valley, exploring the Inca Trail as well. Nearby is the Rainbow Mountain, and there's several versions of it. A lot of people say, "Oh, the Rainbow Mountain, you have to be up at 3 in the morning to get there." There is smaller mountains that have similar properties, and we can actually arrange it so you don't have to be there up at 3 in the morning to get there, and make it a lot easier for travelers. Horseback riding in the Sacred Valley, and of course the beautiful hotels in these areas. Like Hacienda Urubamba, Belmont, Rio Sagrado, the Explorer properties in the Sacred Valley, and many spas and beautiful places with small hiking trails, and you can see, their own plantation with quiche plants, and of course Machu Picchu. Now Machu Picchu is a bit more complex with all the circuits. We know that this is something, first time visitors, we usually recommend circuit 2, A or B, but if we can't get that, we'll get another circuit that will allow you to visit. But if you're a second time visitor, let's help you and show you other facets of Machu Picchu, is reaching, Huayna Picchu and all that. So don't, as I said, we don't want this to be a one-time destination. We want you to come back again. Then, of course, access to train by Machu Picchu, the Hiram Bingham train, and the different train routes, not just to between Cusco and Machu Picchu, but Cusco and Arequipa and Cusco and Puno. We have some really nice expedition trains. Again, VIP service. So if you have clients that are looking for luxury, we have those services. One of the beautiful hotels near to Machu Picchu, the Sumac, or the Inca Terra Machu Picchu Pueblo. We have El Mapi as well, and other options also. And of course, trekking to Machu Picchu, again, retouching on the Inca Trail. One of the most amazing things about the Inca Trail is, finding so many ruins before you arrive to Machu Picchu that are located in the middle of nowhere. Although Machu Picchu is located in the middle of nowhere in the cloud forest, on the way to the Amazon, but you have a train that takes you there now. But the other ruins that you actually can reach give you that sensation and the remoteness of, the Incas carrying all these stones and, laying them out at the unique places. And of course, other treks around Cusco and all this Andean area, the Salcantay trek, beautiful mountains nearby. Lares trek, visiting all the lakes. Choquequirao. This is a little bit in another alternative to trekking to Machu Picchu. Choquequirao is one of the largest Inca ruins in the area. And of course, an alternative to Machu Picchu, the El Sangate trek. So we have adventure, the Vilcabamba, which is one of the longer treks. And then, of course, other cities in the Andes. Arequipa, under the watchful eye of the misty volcano and all these active volcanoes, but a beautiful city. It's known as the White City because of the type of stone that was used to build the different convents and all. Nearby, the deepest canyon in the world, the Colca Canyon, where you can watch the condors fly. And of course, beautiful properties there to stay. 5-star hotels like Circa or the Casitas de Colca. Puno, another city right by Lake Titicaca. Here you have the Urals Islands. These are islands that are maintained by the Ural people. Some of them live on the island, some of them live in the city of Puno. Full disclosure at that, but it's a tradition that's trying to be kept up. And we get to visit Amanda Lake, the floating islands of the Urals. And then, of course, other locations like Taquile Island, where we have cultural interaction. We have lunch at the house at one of the families. We get to meet the community and support their activity. And again, navigating on Lake Titicaca on the reed boats. This is really one of the unique attractions as well. And of course, the possibility of crossing over to Bolivia, five-star properties like Titilaca, where you can do some kayaking and unique locations there. Then, of course, if we want to go off the beaten path, we'll talk of the Chachapoyas culture. And of Cuelap, this is in the north part, um, going inland from Chiclayo or Trujillo. And of course, part of the Amazonas province. And again, this is, a site that is just as impressive as Machu Picchu in size, but of course, less famous. So if you want to go off the beaten path, you're having ideas of a second visit, definitely Peru is that type of destination. And then one of the largest wildlands on the planet, the Peruvian Amazon. Now, you have two ways of accessing the Amazon. One is by flight. Well, they're both by flight, actually. I'm talking about Iquitos in the north and Puerto Maldonado, which is accessible from Cusco on a 2 hour flight, 1.5 hour to 2 hour flight. The Tampopata National Reserve, if you want to go a little bit more deeper in, and all the wildlife that is in this amazing rainforest, the parrot claylets, the bird watching, the caimans, the primates, and of course, exploring on the river. And half your visits are on the river. While you're exploring on the river, you actually have your eyes open, your binoculars ready, because you're really going to be spotting wildlife. Now, this is a secret forest, as always. It's more of I always call it a botanical trip because the animals are there, but they're hiding. So sometimes you get to see them, sometimes you don't, but they do see you. Observation towers help with that. Piranha fishing or some of the experiences, something enjoyable for all ages. Biking, hiking, kayaking, bird watching, photography trips, going up, of course, above the canopy. All this is possible. The excursions led by naturalist guides, native guides, bird watching, as we mentioned, and some of the lodges, Rainforest Expedition Lodge in Puerto Maldonado, Incatera Amazon Reserve in Tabofata. All of these, locations are respectful of nature, but also allow creature comforts so that you're under the bush, you're in the wild, but you're also in a comfortable place. Iquitos, of course, this is the other part of the Amazon, and it can be explored also by launch, but also by riverboat. Now, here is where they say, between the Ucayali and the Marañón, the union is the birth of the Amazon, and where you would really call it the Amazon. To be honest, they say the Amazon is born in Peru and it comes from the Misty volcano in Arequipa, and that's the stream that flows into the Amazon. But all these conflusions and all these rivers that come throughout all of South America create this wonderful, amazing river system that has its basin with wildlife, bird watching, skiffs. We call them canoe excursions, but these are skiffs. They're metal skiffs, and they go actually through the river. In the high water season, you really don't have that much walking, but you're actually going under the canopy from the skiffs. You can swim in the Amazon as well in different parts. Observe the pink river dolphins, the medicinal plants, Monkey Island. Well, this is one of the lodges. And as I said, they're comfortable. They're eco lodges. You have a treehouse lodge as well out of Iquitos, where you actually can sleep up in the canopy. And of course, the river boats. Ultra luxury like the Aquanera and the Aria. You have tourist superior like La Perla, first class La Zafiro, Amatista, which is a tourist class, but excellent for groups and alumni groups. The Delphine boats, these are some of the luxury boats down there as well. There's options, all sizes, and there's more boats actually. We work with all of them. We can help you plan the right trip for groups or for individuals, help you pick the right cabins, and of course, regional combinations. South America at large. Now, using Peru as our hub, we can explore Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina easily because there is direct flights between all of them. And that's one of the main things about Peru. You actually can reach out to other destinations. Extensions into Bolivia, the Uyuni Salt Flats, Lake Titicaca, which we already talked about, extensions into Chile, down to Patagonia or Atacama. To Argentina, there is flights to Buenos Aires, and of course, you can fly directly to Iguazu. There is direct flights to Mendoza if you want to visit the wine fields. Of course, on your way back to Colombia, from Peru as well, to Ecuador. And this is another destination that is really deep in our heart. Our main office is actually at Latin Trails are both in Peru and in Ecuador. And we have regional offices in Colombia, Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia. Um, Now, this is Quito, another destination you can actually combine easily with Lima, one of the Andean destinations, one of the most beautiful cities in South America. And of course, this is, when we talk about, our welcome process, you always have a guide waiting for guests there with their name. Of course, this is a sample of our brand, but we also can do this with your brand. Our services are white label. You send us your logo, and we'll have a sign with your company's name on it. Then just stepping into Quito, cultural experiences there. And I just wanted to remind you that in Quito, Ecuador, we have a hotel, Isla Experience Hotel. This is a 10-room property in the Old Town in the San Marcos district. And here we have unique experiences where, you can learn to weave a straw hat or work with ceramics or metal work, watercolor lessons on the rooftop, all this type of experiences at Ila, which make it one of the top experience hotels in South America. But this is actually how we travel throughout all of South America. And we mentioned that throughout Peru is, interacting with local artists and artisans. Then, of course, combining Machu Picchu in Peru with the Galapagos Islands is a really amazing idea. We have our own Galapagos Seaman Journey and other luxury yachts like the Hermes Catamaran, which we one of our general sales agents for. Um, and that's a little bit about us. I mean, and about this presentation on Peru, just to give you, spark some ideas of what you can offer your clients. We have real-time availability on our website. If you scan through, you can see the different yachts in the Galapagos, which is actually a lot of times, when you're combining Peru with Ecuador and the Galapagos yacht availability actually sets out the dates. So it's good to have that online in real time. We have all the first class and small yachts in the Galapagos Islands. And just to finalize, a picture of the coast of Peru and a quick video. Just a quick video, to close up. And now I just want to thank you for your time, for paying attention to what we've had to say a little bit about this beautiful destinations. I hope to get all your questions. And here's our contact information, our address in Lima as well. And feel free to write to us with any questions, and happy to assist with anything.
Right. Well, Marcel, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. We've got requests to see that QR code again. If you're able to back up to that, uh,
Absolutely. Right there we go.
yeah, perfect.
Okay,
We'll
that's
leave
our
that
partner
up there.
section. And here we in the partner section we have availability, access to boat information, or different itineraries, and everything is in there. And of course online availability.
All right, Marcel, thank you. So, starting at the top with some of the questions that we received, are there areas of Peru which you would not recommend for travel?
Like in any country around the world, there is areas that we would not recommend traveling to, and we would not include them in any of the itineraries. That's why as a DMC, we organize the itineraries, we plan them together with you, and we're here to advise you and say, okay, yeah, this area we're not going to visit, or we wouldn't recommend visiting this area, and in anything, you have to take these with a grain of salt because, there could be areas, in a country where, I'm not going to mention cities, but I travel a lot to the US, and there's cities, that are beautiful, but you can't visit certain areas of that city. And that's what we're going to avoid. So we're really, I think, it's Peru's a very safe destination, very fun destination, but there's areas to be avoided, and we'll just keep them out of the itinerary. And,
Mm-hmm. Yep, fair enough. Thank you. There was a question about, dune skating. How far is dune skating from Lima?
It's approximately about the Huacachina is about 4.5 to 5 hours away, give or take, and you're going to be stopping by. I mean, and this is with at Pisco on the way and all that to visit, how they where they make the wine. So you have that It's not just going to dune skating and then coming back. You actually and you have hotels in the area, so it's a nice overnight trip because you can combine it with the Ballestas Islands, or you can combine it. You can extend onwards to the Nazca Lines and all that. So it's on the way.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're getting some feedback that the QR code might not be working right now, so maybe Andrea can work on that in the background. And if we aren't able to solve it while we're on the air together, we'll make sure in the follow-up email that we get the right link to
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll
everybody.
we'll send
Yep,
you the information
absolutely.
by email. I'm just gonna head back to the main slide, but yeah, please let's go on with the other questions.
Yeah, thank you. Do you offer experiences that include the Afro-Peruvian culture in Chin Chincha?
In Chincha, yes, we do.
Chincha.
Yes, we do. We work with all the cultures in Peru. We have Peru is a large country, and that's one thing to mention in terms of So we have our main office is actually in Lima and in Cusco, but we do have small regional partners in different parts of the country. So we have a network throughout Peru, and that's how we work with the country. And we definitely can offer the activities in Chincha as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. We had a question. Several people are asking about vaccinations, whether Peru is requiring an international certificate of vaccination against yellow fever.
Well, this is something that is changing. For example, I mean, the different countries are requiring the vaccination, and it really depends on the Peru is on the list of certain areas of Peru are on the list, for vaccination. But if you're visiting, the Andes and you're going to be in high altitude areas, it's really not. You don't have presence of yellow fever in those areas. But if you're going to be in the coast, you're going to be in the lower areas, which is arriving through Lima and all that, it's going to be required eventually. Because right now there is the outbreak of yellow fever, but again, vaccination is required, and you only need to have it once. And this is going to cover not just South America, but anywhere else, other trips you have around the world. So it's not, if you think of it, it's a one-time vaccination that you need.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Let me ask you this one about Machu Picchu. For a first-time travel person, how long would it take to get to the top?
Well, Machu Picchu, a lot of people see it as a climb, and I'll explain a little bit on that. You're taking a train that either out of Cusco, out of the Poroi station, or out of Ollantaytambo station, which is in the Sacred Valley, and you're riding by train for about a couple hours. When you arrive to the town of Aguascalientes, you're going to take a bus up to Machu Picchu to the gate. So you actually are not hiking up there. You're arriving by bus. And once you're at the gate, then you have a walk around the site, which is a couple hours, and then you have a additional time to explore on your own, and then you have to move out because that's what the ticket allows. And there's several circuits, so all the walking around Machu Picchu is going to be about you're going to be walking for 2 to 3 hours, I would say, and at a slow pace. There is certain circuits that have more steps than others, and all that is part of it. For example, if you're going to go up to Huayna Picchu, you definitely have to be in really great shape. But there's other circuits that are a lot less active and all that. So it really, I mean, it is it's not a hike on the Inca Trail. You don't have to do that. That's an option and an alternative. Of course, if you're going to do the Inca Trail, it's going to be 4 days. So that's really what it's down to. So Machu Picchu is a location that you arrive by bus at the gates, and then you walk in, and you're going to go upstairs and all that. But it's not really a hike up there, so it's not that difficult or strenuous as it might seem.
Hmm. Okay. Very good. Thank you for that information. We have questions for you about other countries in South America. One is, do you offer any one-day tours in in Argentina, perhaps pre-cruise tours?
Absolutely. Well, another destination just as the dimension, we have representation of 4 ships in Antarctica. So we do all the pre and post trips throughout Argentina. So, I mean, if you have travelers arriving, or at the port of Buenos Aires, they want to go for a day trip to Uruguay, they want to visit Buenos Aires and all that, that is possible. We can offer that as well.
Okay, perfect. And then for keto, do you offer pre-cruise and post-cruise for keto?
Absolutely. That's Quito's my city. So this we would definitely no, we definitely have a large offer of experiences throughout Quito, anywhere from gastronomy tours, cooking classes, unique experiences, and of course extensions, not just one day, but several days, because you have activities nearby. You have cloud forest, you have volcanoes, and a lot of other activities, and these are great for pre or post Galapagos cruise, just the same way as we would offer, activities in Peru and Lima, not just as a stopover city, but, gastronomic tours throughout Lima, cultural tours, visiting the different museums. I mean, even museums that are off the beaten path, like the Mario Postino, the photography museum they have in Barranco, which is one of my favorites. It's not on everybody's list, but these are things that we are able to unveil and share with our clients based on their interests.
Ah, okay, good. Thank you. Back to Machu Picchu. You mentioned three circuit versus two circuit. What would you miss in the three circuit? What do you miss in the three circuit versus the two circuit?
Basically, the typical photo of Machu Picchu is, and that's it, but you actually get in the two circuit, you get to go inside the citadel and everything, and it's just, I mean, there's a lot of intricacies there, small things, but when you visit a location and they say, oh, you're not going to get, this is comparing all four circuits, you're not going to get the typical picture of Machu Picchu. Well, maybe you don't want the typical picture of Machu Picchu. You want to see it, you want to feel it. You're going to be there. You're going to enjoy the Inca culture, and you're not going to be doing what everybody else probably did, unless you take, the two circuit, which is the main circuit for first time visitors, and that way you get to see, what everybody has, the typical picture. But you're going to realize that there's so much more, and you're going to want to do a second visit. You definitely want to come back to Peru. So, whichever circuit you get, I mean, you're going to do fine, but we're going to try to get, if you're a first time visitor, we're going to try to get you on circuit two, which is our recommendation. Of course,
Excellent.
that
Thank
depends on
you.
availability, and there's limited spaces, and more that's something that is selling out. So, my recommendation is plan in advance, and we'll help you pick the right circuit.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next question, a business related question, is about commission for advisors. How do they find out what their commission might be?
Oh, we have two ways of working that out, and it depends. If we're doing a land program, or a custom made program, we will quote the program net, and then advisors can add their own markup. Now, once they've added their markup and they have a rack rate, we can also help them do that. That's not a problem. And they can decide on what commission they want. And then there's two options. They can wire us the net amount to our bank account. They would have to charge their client for that, or we can charge their client's credit card and we'll mail them the commission later, or send it to them through ACH transfer. That way, I mean, they get their commission and all that. Now, commissions are negotiated on a one-to-one basis, but we start at 12%.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Uh, all right. And then I guess last question here, unless we get some others coming in. What about advisor rates or FAMs? Do you ever offer those?
Yes, we actually have a big fam coming up. And so be open to your inbox, be ready for that. We're going to be, I'm going to give a spoiler on it. We're going to be actually offering a couple cruises in the Amazon out of Iquitos on two beautiful expedition ships. And these are at different, levels, so that you actually, if you have a younger crowd, or, student groups, you have an option for that. And the other one is for actually couples, and that type of product, a little bit more upmarket. So we have those coming up towards the end of the year, and early next year. So we're going to be announcing that in the next couple of weeks, the FAMs. And of course, there's going to be extensions into Machu Picchu and other parts of Peru as well. We have a FAM already, that you can sign up already. We just announced it today. It's for Quito. visiting Quito, in Ecuador, and it's dedicated to Quito alone with an extension to the Galapagos as well. And we have FAMs that are also scheduled for the Galapagos. Uh, they're selling out, so we're happy to send that information with the follow up of all the FAMs we have up coming up. And of course, as I mentioned, we're here to help agents be the rock stars, train you. And we have training sections in our website as well for Ecuador and Peru. And we'll be sharing the fam trip information.
All right. That sounds exciting. Well, thank you. So, Marcel, I think that's all I have with questions. Is there anything else you'd like to cover before we close?
No, I just want to thank everyone for joining us. You have our information, travel at latintrails.com for a quick email, and we'll help you build the entire itinerary so you can share with your clients. We'll share our knowledge throughout that program, and we'll customize it until it meets your client's requirements, and then it's bookable. So it's really an easy process. We're here to help you, hold your hand throughout the booking Peru on or off the beaten path. And again, thank you, and be on the lookout. There'll be more webinars about other destinations, and there is going to be information about those FAMs coming up. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Marcel. It was a pleasure working with you today. And with that, we'll wish you all a great day and conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.